Welcome to the Armbar class. Do you like Armbars? Yay! Everybody loves Armbars. Armbars are good. They are nice. They work. Every grappling art in history with submissions do armbars. Every submission statistic you will ever find always has armbars top 3 finishes. Armbars work. And if you do jiu-jitsu, I think with all that data and history, you must be very, very good at armbars. If you don't know armbars really well in jiu-jitsu, I think you're missing out on something very, very important. Personally, I have a little armbar project at the moment. I usually train jiu-jitsu in projects and dive into some rabbit holes, and I'm kind of very deep in this rabbit hole, maybe a little bit too deep, but that's why I just like to teach armbar stuff at the moment. I've done another class about how to finish armbars, at least how I like to do it. That's not going to be the theme of today. Actually, today it's illegal to finish armbars. If anybody finishes an armbar, and at this class, we all have to do 100 push-ups. You're laughing, but I'm really serious. Everybody do 100 push-ups if I see someone tap to an armbar. Okay? We only want to talk about kind of the conceptual basis of what makes an armbar and how to get there, and what it takes to stay where you have to stay so you can go for a finish. Okay? So that's the plan for today, and it's going to be a class of more than anything. It's going to be kind of a class of discovery. I'm going to try to make you figure out how to find armbars yourself, instead of just telling you how I do it. So my job today is to make you understand what makes an armbar, what it takes to get there, and what's required to stay in an armbar position, and then it's up to you to find the solution. I will of course spoil a little bit how I like to do it, but that might not be at all how you would prefer to do it. Yeah? Because we all kind of have different games, different styles, different positions we like to play, different body types, and the opponent might be different or whatever. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of you trying to discover stuff, and then me afterwards telling you what the solution could have been. So we will start with something quite simple, which is basically where we're trying to get to get an armbar. Yeah? So if you think about, there's a setup and a finish. Yeah, there's kind of a middle station in between, which is basically a pinning position. We need to get to this pinning position to be able to finish an armbar. Yeah? But if we go just from the setup to the finish directly, then you're missing out on a very, very important thing. It's like trying to do a rear naked choke without having like the proper back control. Yeah? So we need to understand the actual pinning position of an armbar. And I'll try. Can I chip in? I'll try to explain it. I'll explain everything, most things from kind of side control-ish positions, but it applies to any armbar position, top, bottom, turtle guard, whatever. Personally, I just can't really do armbars from bottom because of injuries, wear and tear. So I mostly do it from top, but feel free to just do only armbars from guard if you want this whole class. Huh? So basically, for me to be able to finish an armbar, I need to get to a position where I keep, and this is what you need to remember, balls really close behind the shoulder. Yeah. He must at all time feel my testicles on his shoulder.
I'm so glad you selected me, Christian.
Right. If he does not feel that, you feel these 2 fingers?
Yeah.
Just simulate. If he does not feel that, that means he's about to escape. Yeah. So should I stop caressing it?
I know. Right.
Okay. So that's where I want to be. So the pinning position is. You ready for it?
Oh yeah. That's so warm. So warm, Christian.
I apologize.
You're not.
Not really.
Not
Okay.
really.
So I have to somehow keep let's call it my hip, really close. My hips, really close to his shoulder. Yeah. I need to do that by using different leg configurations and my arms. Yeah. So we're gonna start like this. You put your hip, genitals, testicle, male, female, whatever, things close to the shoulder, and you try to use your legs somehow to keep that connection. Yeah. We're not really trying to escape or anything now. We just want a little chat about it. Could I do this? Could I do this? Could I do whatever? Yeah. And afterwards, I'll give you some pointers of what I like to do. Okay. So if you grab a partner, and all you do now, just have a little conversation about how can I keep my hip really, really close to this part behind the shoulder in any position. Yeah, it could be side control or guard or whatever. Yeah? Okay. I don't really prefer the clapping thing. Is it okay if I just say, please do it? Is that enough? Okay, please. What the fuck? What the hell? All right. So let me. We're just turning a little bit. I'll just come over here. Okay. So keeping my hip really close to the shoulder with different leg configurations. Yeah. There are many ways of doing this. Like a very classic way would be to kind of pull your heels in and squeeze your knees. Yeah, works perfectly fine. That's great. I really like to cross my feet and push my knees out. It depends a lot on his game and how he escapes and his size and everything. I have to change. We'll get to that. But this is one option. This is one option. There are a lot of things you could do, like hooking the head like this, or even like triangling the shoulder like this. There are many ways of doing this. But it ultimately comes down to kind of your preference and how they escape. Yeah? Because sometimes I need like a squeeze, on the bicep. Yeah, this must be the solution for me. And sometimes I need to push his head and his hip down. Yeah, depending on how he's escaping. So if I go for an armbar and he kind of really likes to sit up. Yeah, so if he likes to sit up, then for sure I'm going to try to push his head down like this. Yeah. So if he's trying to sit up now, he's kind of stuck. Yeah. But if he really likes to put his left hand underneath there, yeah. So maybe I would like to do this more, depending a little bit on what happens. We'll get to that. Even again, this might not be the solution for you, but for me, I really like to play this. And often, if you start exploring this a little bit, what happens is that there's a little bit of room here, and he starts to put his hands in there. So I really like to kind of give him a little hat with my leg. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
Right? It's really strange, but this is a wonderful position. And he just doesn't know it. It's like a little hat. Look at him. See it? Yeah. And if he's kind of not as wide shoulders, then maybe I have to kind of triangle my legs here or something. But no matter what I do with my legs, it doesn't really matter per se which solution I pick. I just have to do one thing, and that is to keep my hip really close to the shoulder. Okay, that's all I have to do. So you can try that first. Just kind of experiment a little bit. Maybe you got some inspiration there. I don't know. Try to do that, and then also try to use your hands a little bit. But I like to start people out with only using their legs, so you don't rely too much on like holding a Kimura grip and your leg configuration is shit. Yeah. So start with your legs a little bit, and then after you can try to add anything you could do with your hands and arms to prevent that space from being lost. Okay. So let's try that. Can you try? No clapping. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, there are many ways of doing it, and none of them are right or wrong. As long as you can keep your hip really close to the shoulder and not lose that connection, then you have an opportunity to go for finishing the arm. Yeah. So you have that pinning position is key. So in a usual class, I would let people drill this quite a lot, like just holding that pin. It's no different than drilling holding the back. Yeah. Before you start working a lot on rear naked chokes, it's the same thing. This is just another pinning position to go for a finish. Yeah? So I'll add one more little tip, so to say, that I really like. It's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Don't do that.
I gave my best tip already. Okay. So there's another thing that I find make a really good difference in this pin here is that Charles Harriott, one of the coaches, showed me this stuff, and it really changed my arm bars quite a lot, is that as I try to hold this position with any leg configuration that I prefer, or that's relevant of the situation, as I hold this, obviously he has a lot of squirming and escaping to do. Yeah? He's moving a lot. And a lot of it is based on his shoulder mobility, his shoulder's ability to kind of rotate and go left and right and up and down. Yeah? As a general concept, joints and muscles work better as they're contracted. Yeah? You're stronger when you're contracted, and they're more kind of work better than if they're kind of, what do you say, pulled apart. You know? So if I have a pinning position, instead of, again, we're not talking about finishes, but instead of me going directly for trying to pull the arm out, I kind of have another middle station, which is to try to almost like pull his shoulder apart. You know? Because if he's here, and he can maybe try to turn away or something, turn away, yeah, like this. And there's a lot of like running and all this, and there's a lot of going on in the shoulder joint. Yeah? And if his shoulder joint is allowed to be compressed, he can move a lot. But if I kind of pull it out like this, he loses a lot of his mobility in the shoulder. Yeah, so you feel the difference?
Yeah, I can't tell.
It really fucking sucks, yeah? So the more I can extend his joints and his muscles, the less mobile they are, yeah? So that's one thing I look for a lot in pinning him, is that I will try to, sometimes it's like this, Charles calls it the burrito grip, yeah? I think in here it's like the Durham kebab grip, like that, and I just pull straight out before I even think about finishing. Or if it's a kind of a Kimura grip, then I try to pull that up, yeah, and this takes away a lot of mobility. Okay, so you can do the same thing, even without a Kimura. Sometimes even with the gi, I just kind of pull like that compared to here. Yeah, it makes a huge difference for how he can move around. So with that in mind, you can try a little bit. Pick any leg configuration you like, yeah, and let him squirm around a little bit, not like really fight to escape, but just squirm around a bit. And then I try to imagine I pull his shoulder joint out, and he should feel the difference. Yeah, so maybe I really like, personally, I really like this. Yeah, so I can just try that. And then he can try to move a little bit. And it should really mess up with his ability to move. Yeah? Not like a magic pill, but it makes a big difference. So grab a partner, just kind of play with that for a few minutes, and then we'll do a few games just to practice it. Then we move on to setting up that position, okay? Okay? Good. Now go. Walk away.
Also wirklich den Arm lang ziehen, also wirklich die Schulter hoch. Nein, nicht so. Du versuchst jetzt schon aufzukriegen. Ja. Was er meinte ist jetzt, die Schulter. Was er einfach ist, hochziehen. Ja. Ja, genau. Ja.
Too fast. From here on, obviously, I will spend a lot of time on just playing this position. Yeah? And the game is simple. Top person try to keep connection to the shoulder. Bottom person try to break the connection. Yeah? We can change the rules a little bit here and there, but that's the simple version of the game. So you can grab your partner. We can just do a few rounds just for the sake of it. Also, so you get an idea of how I would structure it as a class. Yeah. You pick your favorite leg configuration. Yeah. I really like this. Maybe you really like this. You know. Maybe you really like whatever you do. Yeah. I even sometimes I get away with this. Even now and then. It's really strange that it's possible, but I do get away with this. And it doesn't matter what I do with my legs, as long as I understand that what I'm trying to accomplish is just to keep really tight to the shoulder. Right? My hip tight to the shoulder, then I could do whatever. Yeah? If he cannot break that connection, then I have an armbar situation. Yeah? So I pick any of them, any grip I want with my arms, and we can say 1, 2, 3, go. And I'm gonna just try to focus on one thing only, is to keep that connection, and he's gonna try to break the connection a little bit, yeah? Obviously now, the person on top is the one who is practicing most, yeah? So if he just escapes super easy, he might need to dial it down a little bit, yeah? Also your choice of fashion makes a big difference here. Like if it's lycra on lycra, then it's way more slippery. It's really more difficult to hold an armbar. If you, let's say you're wearing slippery spats and long sleeve rash guards, bad choice maybe for armbars. Yeah. So short shorts, great. Yeah, there's a little bit more friction on skin. Or gi is amazing for armbars because really you can really be stuck with this arm. But whatever rocks your boat. Yeah? So you pick any leg and arm configuration that you like. You can go 1, 2, 3, go. I try to hold it as long as I can. He tried to break the connection. If he breaks it, then we just switch. The other person goes. Okay, that's the first round, and we'll just do a very short round because we don't have a lot of time. After each round, when you hear my signal, you have a 30-second evaluation round where you can have a little chat. Yeah, and this is super important. This is where you kind of share your experiences with that round. You tell your partner what was good and what was bad. If they did something good, something you don't understand, just ask a question. Yeah, it doesn't matter your level, just a little evaluation, just a little chat for 30 seconds. And then we got a new partner, go a few rounds and you pick up some experience from everyone. and then that's it, okay? So find a partner, we go the first round, let's go.
Reverse hitchhiker.
Exactly the same game, but I'm just going to change it a little bit. Top person has one more objective, which is, as always, keep the hip really close to the shoulder, but bonus points if I can switch leg configuration along the way, okay, without losing the connection. So maybe if you're a beginner, I would recommend you take something really simple, like something you know, like this one, and then your goal is to hold it and then somehow get to here. Yeah, that's like, yay, bonus points. You can't use the points for anything, guys, but just saying. And back, okay? That's the achievement you're trying to get. And you'll probably lose it, and then you try again. And then you try on many different partners, and some are easy, some are hard, and that's how we learn, okay? So do the exact same game, find a new partner, I recommend, put your hand up, yeah, and find a new partner, and then same game as before, but if you can switch leg configuration along the way, anything, this, the other way, you know, squeeze, anything you want, if you manage to do that and still hold the connection, yay. Yeah, good job. Okay, let's try. Find a new partner. Go.
Nicht vor der Pulle.
Okay. Und gut.
Oh, der sitzt schon ziemlich fest.
In a usual class, I would run this much longer. Usually 10 minutes of this. Every class, 10 minutes of this position for, let's say, 10 years, something like that. Then you become really, really, really good at holding that position. And it's the same as any other position. Mount, whatever, side control, any of the positions, controls, you just need to play these games. And the evaluation round is crucial. I know you're not all teaching, but it's really crucial for sharing data. Because as you can hear, I'm saying nothing. I just kind of stand here and wait with my whistle. But there's so much experience being shared in the room, just for 30 seconds. Yeah? There's so much experience, data, like being shared between us, that it doesn't all have to come from me. So if you do a lot of these short rounds with a lot of partners, you have some easy rounds, some difficult, some super easy rounds, some super difficult rounds, and anything in between, then you kind of find your learning zone, and you get experience from everyone on the team. Everybody says, yeah, but the last round, someone did this to me. Yeah? I don't have time to explain everything that's going on in the room right now. If I look around, I see 50 different variations of leg configurations, arms, setups, movements, all kinds of stuff. For me to explain all that, one, I don't even understand what you're doing, most of you. But for me to explain it, I would need like months of classes, yeah? But, so that's really important that we do a lot of rounds with a lot of different people, and everybody gets to share their experience all the time. You can get a tip from a beginner who just sees things from a different point of view, and that will change your game. Yeah? You don't know. But if it's all like, okay, drill done, nobody talks, let me tell you what the solution is here, yeah? Then we're losing a lot of experience and data between us. So that's pretty important. And also, it's well proven that the best way of learning and retaining what you've learned is through solving problems. It's not by being told the solution. So my job as a coach is to give you situations for problems to solve. Little problems, easy ones, yeah? But try to solve it, chat with someone about it, try to solve it in a different kind of way, and chat with someone about it, and then I'll give you some input, then I'll tell you how I like to do it. Yeah? But it's like trying to teach you math by just telling you the result is 5. Then you're not learning a lot of math. Yeah? How would I teach you math? Give you something to think about, yeah? Try to solve some problems. Then we look at your result together, and I kind of evaluate. Same with anything else to learn. Yeah? So my classes, now I retired as a jiu-jitsu coach, but my classes would be a lot of problem solving for everyone. And honestly, for me, I wouldn't say it's boring, but I don't have a lot to do. Like, I just kind of tell people, here's the problem, try to solve it, and then they usually figure it out themselves. And then at the end, I was like, I would like to tell my solution to it, but someone already figured it out. Yeah? So it's interesting, but it's not a class about teaching. So now just imagine we are really good at this already. We played this position 10 minutes on left and right arm every class. Yeah, every single class, 10 minutes. Pick your favorite configuration, go. Yeah? See what happens. Do 2-minute rounds with five partners, and then you do that again on Wednesday and on Friday and on Saturday. So you just do that for a few years. you become really, really good at holding this position. Yeah. Now, and also really good at escaping, obviously, because it's always a two-way game. You know, it's never a one-way. Any practice minute is always two people playing something. Yeah. Now just imagine we're really, really good at this position. You kind of found your favorite. Now you're already super good at switching leg configuration to whatever you want to, depending on his escapes. All that experience, just imagine you gained that already. Yeah? So this is the pinning position we want to get to. Yeah? This is where we have to get to be able to go for an armbar finish. Yeah? Remember, finishing armbars not allowed today, at least for the next half hour. Yeah? But because that's another science in its own. But I just want to get to here where my hip is really, really close to the shoulder. Yeah, that's the goal for me. If I can get there and stay there, then I have plenty of opportunities to finish the armbar. Yeah? Don't forget, statistically one of the best submissions in history of humankind. Yeah, so you have to be good at this shit. Now, let's talk a little bit about what makes an armbar stay. What makes an armbar? Yeah? Mechanically, what makes an armbar? Because again, I can tell you a solution. I can tell you 5 for the math problem. Yeah. I can tell you exactly how I do an armbar, but you might never pull it off. Yeah? Because I have a different game. I move in a different way. We are how many 100-something people here. I guess if I showed just my version of setting up an armbar, maybe 2 or 3 of you would actually pull that off in sparring down the road. The rest, it would be a little bit of waste of time. So my goal is to make you understand mechanically what makes an armbar, so that you can look for those that kind of fit your game. Yeah? So I need 2 things to get an armbar, and this applies to any position, top, bottom, whatever. Again, I mostly do armbars from top side control-ish, because my body is ruined, so I can't be on bottom, I can't be stacked, I can't put my head on the mat, like all kinds of things. So I just do it from top. If you want to play just guard, turtle, whatever, please go ahead, yeah? Or a mount. So I need 2 things. The first thing that I need is I need access to his armpit. Yeah, and that's like the first thing. After that, I need to somehow move into that position, but we'll get to that. So the first thing that we're gonna have to practice or talk about or study is how to access that armpit. Yeah, and again, I will give you kind of an open question problem first, and then after I'll give you some input on how I do it, and then we can kind of get closer to the result. Right? So I want to just touch his armpit with my hand, with my arm, yeah, in one or the other way, from any position, okay? That's what I want to. He's not gonna give me that. If he's not completely stupid, he's never gonna give me that when I can attack, yeah? But I have to figure out some way to access the armpit area, with a hand or an arm or something, okay? I know it's a very open-ended challenge right now, but this is what you try to solve this problem right now, and then I'll make it make more sense in the next step, okay? One rule, you cannot put your hip to the shoulder yet, okay? I just want you to find that space from any position that you like to play, okay? Confusing? Great. So let's try that first, and then I'll make it less confusing next step, okay? Let's go.
Sollen wir einen Arm holen? Ich würde den einfach so einwickeln. Dann würde ich den auch so hier reinwickeln und dann hier so hart runterpunchen.
So that was confusing, but on purpose, I want you to be a little bit confused and kind of be open to try to think out of the box. So let me talk a little bit about this. So I need access, thank you. I need access to his armpit, his underhook, space between elbow and hip, call it whatever you want. I need that access to be able to try to go for an arm. Yeah, I can do that from any position, basically. I know you're a little bit focused on me just showing it from here, but I'll show some examples. So what are classical ways of getting that space? Yeah, a very classical way would be turn a little bit just for you. There are. You can force. There are different levels of this. Either he just gives it to me, happens, yeah, or I force it to happen, or I trick him to give it to me. You know, those are kind of the different levels, yeah. So at a very low level, you would probably like old Gracie VHS tape. I'm in mount, and he just kind of pushes my chest straight up. Yeah, not even there. You have to kind of push here for it to work. Just yeah, it's basically yeah. Wow, look at that. There is a space. Right? I know right now you're not allowed to put the hip to the shoulder, but you kind of have to. I have to do it just to show. And here is an armbar opportunity. Yeah. Why? Because he gave me that space. Okay. Another classic could be, let's say, in guard. I just kind of magically on the instruction video, the Brazilian guy says, just kind of move his hand over and just grab here. Yeah, and that's just no timing involved or setup or anything. Just kind of take that, and now I can somehow get my hip to the shoulder and attack an armbar. Yeah, I don't do it from mount, or even better. Come, get in my close guard. Even better. He stands up, and he tries to stand up like that. No, and he tries to choke me. Yeah. Oh look, there's the armpit. So from here I can go for an armbar, yeah, because he gives it to me, or just kind of grab my neck. That's it. Why can I do an armbar here? Because at the lowest possible level, he's just giving me that space. Yeah. So thank you very much. Great demo. So that's the lowest possible level that they just kind of do that. Yeah. People still do that higher level, but in a very short time. No? But if he doesn't know anything, he might just start pushing, and then the space opens, and you can try to take it somehow. Now there are many levels of winning that armpit space. So it could be you're a beginner, yeah, and your way of getting it might be I'm in side control, and he takes an underhook, and then no, I take an underhook, and now I have it. Yeah, that could be one way of getting it. At a very low level is that I just kind of take it. Yeah, that happens at lower levels. Okay, it could also be maybe he turtles up. Just turtle. Yeah, just do like a bad turtle.
A bad turtle.
Yeah, or like an open turtle. Maybe not that bad. Okay, it's an open turtle, and I just kind of take the arm. Yeah, and now I can go for an armbar. Yeah, kind of Ronda Rousey style. Go over. I should never show that because now everybody wants to do it. Don't do it. It's pretty shit unless you're really good at it. He better. Now, it could be that he just opens the space. Yeah, it could be that you just kind of take it. That would be a lower level armbar attack. Yeah. Let's say higher level, there would be something else involved, like kind of timing or a trap or setting him up somehow. What I do a lot from side control is let's say I'll be here kind of north-south, and he needs to make this little mistake. So what I do is I force him to only be able to roll to his left. That's the only way he can go, because I turn his head, yeah, and I put the weight there. He can only go that way. So I make him think that I don't want him to go right, yeah, by just closing all those directions. But then at some point I lose the control on his head a little bit, and he thinks, oh, that was the direction he didn't want me to go. So he turns right. And then I just need to put my hand in there as he moves, right? So that's kind of a next level of getting that space. Or even more, I kind of like to pass the guard, and then I make him think there's a kimura. Oh, the arm is right there. Oh, look what he did. Yeah, he gave me that space right there. Yeah, now I have it, and I can go for an armbar. Or maybe I'll go for a choke. Just any kind of choke from any position. I know it's a bad choke. I just wanted to put his hands to the neck and defend this choke with your hands. Go. And then often just give me the space and I have it. Yeah. So again, you can maybe not pull that off. Likely not. Yeah. Because that's a super high level of timing and tricking him and making him think about one thing, and then you do something else just to put your fingers in here. Right. But at a lower level, it might just be fucking take an underhook. Now I have it. Yeah. That might be a way of doing it. One setup that I used for many years was I would go to knee on belly and just put some pressure on, and very often he can't help himself from trying to push my knee off like this, and then I get that, and now I can go for arm bars. Yeah? So you have to kind of play at your level. So if you're a complete beginner, it might just be like shovel up an underhook, and there you have it, and now you go for an arm bar. Yeah. If it's a higher level, you might have to, hey, what do you think about going left? What about right now? Yeah. What are you doing with that hand? Yeah. And then he does that, and then you take it. Yeah. So try another little round of exploration, depending on your level and your whatever you like to play. Try from different positions if you like. Yeah? North, south, side control, mount. What's this? Oh, look what that is. I have the armpit axis. Yeah. Mount, side control, north, south, guard bottom, if not guard top, turtle, whatever you prefer. Just try to find that armpit with a little bit more inspiration in your head. Okay? Let's do that for a few minutes. Go. I personally also do a lot of arm bars on this arm from side control here, where I will force him to only be able to roll away from me. That's his only direction out. And I'll hold him back. Yeah, and the moment I kind of let him go, often he overcommits just a little bit with his arm, just so I can get my fingers in. Yeah, that's all I need, and now I can go for an arm bar. Yeah? Doesn't have to be a deep underhook, that would be nice. It could be just my arm, my fingers, anything. But also think about this. What is a kimura? See what it is? A kimura is me controlling the armpit. Yeah. So you can maybe rewind your technical library a little bit and think in any position where you can take a kimura, you have an armbar, because Christian says if you touch the armpit, you can go for an armbar. Okay? So spend a few more minutes, maybe even with a new partner. That would be nice. Try to share some experiences from your last round and see how you can get that space. Think about kimuras, maybe you like them, maybe not. Yeah. See if you can take something from the round you just did before. Have a little chat more. Like, we're not really, there's no resistance right now. We're just kind of exploring. Okay. So try that, and then remember, you're not allowed to put your hip to the shoulder yet. Don't even think about it. We'll get to it, but I want you to just focus on finding that space first, because that's the first step to get to the pin. Okay. So let's do that. Let's go. No clapping. No clapping. So really important right now, we are not fighting for anything. Yeah? This is not an exercise where you try to make it impossible for the other person to get that space. It's study time. Yeah. So we just sit and have a little chat. Can I do this? I think so. Maybe. What about if you do that and that? Okay. Study, like lab time. So let's extend that a little bit. So now you find out your favorite way of finding that space. Yeah. It could be again from any position. Please don't be too focused on me just playing side control top. So you find your favorite way of getting it. Maybe it's just taking it, yeah, or maybe you rely on him basically just pushing, just maybe push your hand straight up in the air. Maybe you rely on that. Maybe that's your level of getting it. Yeah, I don't know, because it happens, you know. So or maybe you take it, or maybe you set up a trap, an elaborate trap of directions and smoke and mirrors, and he opens that for a split second, and you can put your fingers in, and that's arm bars. Yeah. So it's mechanically the same thing, but the strategy and the timing changes as the level increases. Yeah. So at a high level, they do arm bars in the exact same way. They just need the opponent to do this for a split second. Yeah. For beginners, white belt competition, they're pushing like that for 3 minutes, and then, oh shit, it was an armbar, you know. And then you say, oh damn, bro, you had such a good armbar, but really you gave up that space for minutes and minutes and minutes. Yeah. You stood up in their guard like this. Don't take it. Like this. Try to choke him for like minutes, and then suddenly he takes an armbar. I'm like, oh, nice move, man. Yeah, you deserve that bronze medal. but you made the mistake. Yeah, you gotta fix yourself. So I'm not talking about defense today, but obviously what you have to do on bottom is to not give that space. We'll get to it. That's also my class tomorrow. Now, you find your favorite, one, maybe two ways of getting it. Yeah. So I personally really like this position. Just put your hand here, just for the camera, and then just kind of put my fingers inside. Yeah. Sometimes I need him to move a little bit. Yeah. If it's a static position, it's difficult. But if I make him move and he moves the other way, yeah, usually that'll give it to me. Yeah. So that's what I really like. That might be your favorite or not. I don't know. Yeah. It might just be an underhook from side control, like this. Yeah. This, you can just start from here. If you can get here, you can by definition attempt an armbar because you touched the armpit. Yeah. So you pick your favorite, and from there, I just want you to have a conversation, study time. How do I now move my hips from where I am to behind the shoulders to get to that pinning position that we did in the beginning? Yeah? So let's say if I have an underhook from side control, maybe I personally like to change the grip a little bit like this, and now I need to find the route from my hip. So let's imagine I was in half guard. Now we have to conclude that I cannot do it because my hip can't move. Yeah, so he's defending my guard. So now in our lab, we now realize that I cannot do an armbar from half guard unless I free my leg. Same, let's say full guard. It's like, yes, but I touch his armpit. Yeah, and this is like wide level lab time. Yeah, oh, I get it, but I can't do the armbar. I'm stuck. Yeah, and then you realize. So you need to do it from a position where your hip is free. That's why I don't like armbars from mount very much, because my hip is kind of stuck on him a little bit. I really personally like to be able to move it around. It's more mobile. Yeah. So maybe you like the underhook, and then you have to find out how to get there. So this is up to you, because there are 200 solutions in the room right now that you need to find. But I'll just show you a few examples from side control. I need to get there, yeah, but now it's kind of stuck on the mat. So maybe I lift it like this, and then the next thing is I need to move my lower body. To move my lower body, I need weight on my upper body, and the other way around. If I need to move my arms, I need weight on my lower body. So I know that. So I post my hand somewhere. With experience, I find the right way to do it, and then I just put my hip to the shoulder and go straight into my favorite leg pinning configuration that I like, and then now I'm here. And do I finish the armbar knot? No, just correct answer. Thank you very much. No finishing right now. Yeah, open mat, you can do it. So that might be it. For me, it might be here. Fingers in, weight on my upper body, and go. Yeah, and then I try to get into my favorite, like depending on the situation. And from there on, there are, let's say, 10,000 variations. Yeah. And I can't explain them all to you, so now I'm going to try to make yourself figure it out. So grab a partner, pick your favorite access to the armpit, and then just see together if you can figure out the route to get your hip to the shoulder. Okay, let's do that. Go. Again, I would like to do lots of rounds of this with evaluation, share some experiences. We don't have time, I'm sorry. But you see, looking around the room, I see first 50 variations of doing this. Yeah? So it can be, let's say on the far side arm, obviously you need access here, so you kind of need to open that space somehow. You got to figure that out. And then what I really like to do, one thing that I like to share my experience is that if I kind of go straight for an armbar like this, see, my hip is already far from the shoulder. That's maybe you kind of encountered that yourself. The same if I go in the near arm, like let's say he rolls away, I managed to get to the armpit. Now I know I have a chance for an armbar. Yeah. What do I have to do? Weight on my upper body. Yeah. And now I have to get my hip to the shoulder. It's not far. It's a great position to armbar from. Yeah. But I find that if I go straight, it can be a little bit difficult, because we all know my goal is to be really close and get there. So personally, I always go like sideways. And sideways is more easy to get in, and then now I look for my leg configuration of choice. Yeah, depending on the situation and how he's escaping, all that blah blah blah. That's a different class. Yeah? It could be from any position. Again, I don't really do armbars from guard unless you really fucks up. But the same thing here. I have to get my hip to behind the shoulder, into my favorite leg configuration, and now that's my pin. Yeah, just from the gravity is just turned upside down. Yeah, okay. Same from, I do a little bit from turtle just because I want to be the male Ronda Rousey of Jiu-Jitsu. She was extremely good at just kind of punching a little bit. It's maybe a little bit more close MMA kind of turtle. Yeah, she punch a little bit, and as they protect the face, she got this underhook. Yeah, it's very, very nice. A little bit more like judo style, which is very cool. And from here, jump over, one, and then go this way and roll. But it's the same thing, you see. I get hip close to the shoulder, just from upside down, turtle, anything. But it's the same thing from side control. From knee on belly, do that, yes. Even after they've done it 10 times, you just give them a little break for a few weeks, they will make that mistake again. It's so difficult not to push it off. And again, I need weight on my upper body. It could be on his head or here. I go really tight to the shoulder, get in my pin, and once I'm here, now I can start to think about finishing. Or obviously any Kimura grip I can take from any position, that means I can now go for an armbar. If I can just somehow get my hip there. Yeah, now I have opportunity for an armbar. Also a lot of that from bottom. Kimura from bottom. If you really insist on spending your athletic career in this position with someone's weight on you, great arm bars, and also great herniated discs in your lower back. Yeah, with time. So, but yeah, personally, I just do it from top. I like it. So let's do. Damn it, we're running out of time. Let's do one more round where you pick your favorite axis to the armpit. Yeah, find the route to the hip behind the shoulder. Pick your favorite leg configuration to pin, to hold that pin, and from there you can go the same round as you did in the beginning. Bottom person try to get the shoulder out a little bit, and you just try to hold it for a minute, and then you switch a few rounds. Yeah, that would be a game I would play a lot. So just find the access, move in position, squeeze right away, and then it's really important that from the time that you move your hip to the shoulder to the time where you control it with your leg configuration, that you have to minimize that time as much as possible, because that's their time to escape. Yeah, remember, escapes happen not in fixed positions. Yeah, also attacks do not happen in fixed position. If you see someone on bottom who's defending really well and you can't open them up, that's not the time to attack. You have to make them move, and in the transition, that's where you escape or attack. Yeah, the same with arm bars. Best armbar escapes are before you actually have the armbar. Yeah, it's not when you're completely locked up. This is often a question you get if you roll with someone and you play a lot of defensive stuff and they can't open you up. What do I do? And the answer is not to open up more in a static position. It is to attack in transition. So, like any other sport, you rarely ever see them take the ball from the guy who has it, who just stands there with the ball. It's in transitions. Yeah, you force them to do a bad pass, intercept something just as they get the ball. That's when you intercept and take it. It's never like someone has the ball or someone has the ball and they just run up and kind of kick it out of their feet. You know, it doesn't happen so much. So let's do one more round. Just pick a favorite entry to the armpit. Find the route to the hip. Get straight into the pin with your legs and just play there for a few seconds and then switch, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's just review really quick what makes an armbar. There is a middle position that I need to finish an armbar, just like I need the back with hooks to finish a choke, usually. So I need to be with my hips extremely close to his shoulder, and I need to use my legs and my arms to hold this position, in many different ways. To get there, I need to access his armpit. Now, if I can in any position access his armpit, this arm, front, back, with my arms, even with my legs, then I can have a ticket to attack the armbar. Yeah. I also really like. Sometimes I do silly stuff. I get a little bit bored sometimes, and I play some weird positions like this, and often I can get like here, you know. And guess what? Guess where I am? Yeah, I have his armpit with my leg, but it is still. Now my head should say, oh, there must be an armbar here somewhere. Yeah, and lo and behold, I can kind of get there, and now I have access to the armbar. So the key is to understand the mechanics of what makes an armbar, the setup and the position, and then you kind of you sprinkle your technique on top. You choose your style to get there. Yeah? Also, once you know that, you also know how to defend it. Obviously, yeah, kind of obvious. So if he does not want to be armbarred, what does he have to do when he's on bottom? Don't let me touch his armpit. Yeah, that's it. That's all he has to do. And guess what? I need the same for arm triangles, leg triangles, omoplatas, kimuras, americanas. Basically anything you can imagine, I need that space. Yeah? So on bottom, you need to defend that space if you don't want to lose. Unless top person doesn't know what they're doing. That's also a way of winning. Yeah? Once I have it, if he wants to defend it, what's the next thing he needs to do? Deny access to the shoulder, right? So it could be maybe he's catching my legs. So he's pinning with his legs. Yes, so now he makes my hip stuck, so now I can't move it here. Could also be that he just keeps that shoulder flat on the mat. Yeah, so I can't get there, okay? So that's how you defend armbars from bottom. Don't give up that space. And if you do, don't give him access to that shoulder space. Yeah? And that's all you need to know about setting up armbars ever. And from there on, once you understand the mechanics, the work is on you. You have to put in the time. So you have to make a decision what you want to become good at. Yeah? I recommend something that involves large muscle groups, not small joints. Yeah? I say this often, but I had a lot of best submissions and best techniques that I did for decades, and I can't do it anymore because they were based on maybe on grips, fingers, maybe on something with my wrist. Can't do that anymore. Shoulders, no flexibility anymore. I lost my gi chokes, I lost my Japanese necktie, I lost my guillotines. They were very, very beautiful old friends that I really miss. I can't do it anymore because shit hurts after 25 years. But arm bars, I think I can do them until I cannot do jiu-jitsu anymore because it's kind of my entire body involved. Yeah? Loop chokes, so beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful submissions from Guard. It's like, beautiful loop choke. Done, did it for 10 years, can't do it anymore. I look at it like, I want to take it, but can't do it. It's gonna hurt my fingers for like a week or two. So I highly recommend you pick something based on like historical data and also statistics in submission arts, judo, sambo, MMA, jiu-jitsu, whatever. Like, what are the best submissions? Rear naked chokes, arm bars, kimuras, half guard, anything where you hold on with your whole body. You can do that for the rest of your life. You don't want to lose it. I tell you, Japanese necktie. I have done that submission more than anything, probably like thousands of times, and I can't do it anymore. It's over. I can't. My wrist. I have arthritis in my wrist. No cartilage left because I've been doing this for 15 years against someone posting up into my little tiny wrist ligaments, and that was just it. In a sense, you can say it's wasted. Of course, it was fun while it lasted, but I wish I could still do it because I was really, really good at it. But that's over. But I can always do arm bars, I think. So I picked that, and the way that I like to practice is that I pick one or two things, usually just one thing, and practice for a year. So I have like a super focus on just one thing in sparring, have a purpose. This is how you win sports, is that you're a generalist with some niche aspects of the game where you can beat anyone. Yeah? So if you're a blue belt, you must have one thing where you're a black belt. That's how you win blue belt competitions, like at high level. But it goes for any sport in the world. You know, that's how you win. So I pick one thing and I become really good at it in 1 year. Sometimes I go too deep in that rabbit hole. I had a few things where I spent 10 years on it, but I have a little list. Then when I feel like I'm good enough, I cross it off, and then I write something new on it. With today's technology, I built the Camp app. In the statistics section, you can make a private stat, and I have an armbar stat. And right now, I try to do 1,000 armbars in Camp open mats. Once I've done 1,000, I'll try something else. It's probably going to take some years, but if I can get an armbar that's like high black belt level armbar, then I know I can beat most people if I can just get there. Yeah? So I highly recommend that. Jiu-jitsu is so vast and so wide that it's really easy to get caught up in just trying to learn a little bit of everything. Yeah, you should be general. You should have awareness of everything, but you should just need a few things that you're exceptionally good at. I had guys who won competitions who didn't even know jiu-jitsu, but they could just guillotine. I just taught them guillotine. One guy who won just by double legs. Yeah, it's a rugby guy. I was like, okay, you're gonna do double legs for the next 2 years as a white belt, nothing else. He won everything, but if he couldn't take them down, he would lose, obviously, because he didn't know anything else. So later they learned the rest and all that, but that's also obviously a matter of mentality. I find it interesting to go really deep into a rabbit hole. Even more when I tell everyone that I only do arm bars and then still try to do it. It's a really difficult challenge, but it's good fun. So it's nothing personal if I go only for arm bars. I am not allowed to do any other submissions. So if I go for something else, it's usually to try to make you do this, like a guillotine or something. It's my personal contract with myself that I have to let go of any other submission but arm bars until I get to 1,000. It's been 2 years so far, so it takes a while, but why not? That's it. I hope you liked the class. Open mat, and yeah, if you have any questions about arm bars or anything, I'm more than happy to help out. I have another class tomorrow. It's called I Want to Be Inside of You. It's a very, very good class, very nice class. You have to come tomorrow to see what it is. But that's it. Thank you so much for coming.